Do you know that you're here for a reason, but yet you struggle to understand what your purpose is? Have you had a challenging upbringing and felt like you were the odd one out? Or have you suffered in your life, but yet struggled to find meaning in your suffering? If any of the answers to these questions are true, then it's possible that you could be what people would call a light worker. Now, I'm not the greatest fan of the term, but I use it in this video because I know that there are tens of thousands of people who understand this term and resonate with it. And like with most things in life, oftentimes a label can be beneficial to a person because it allows them to dive within, ask themselves, okay, what's in connection with this label and does it resonate with me? So a light worker, or somebody who does the work of the light, or a gentleman the other day mentioned light keeper, which I found quite beautiful, is to me somebody who is an alchemist, somebody who can transmute things, who can change things from one state into another, who can have the ability to take one perspective and transform it into another perspective. Okay, somebody who can open their eyes beyond the usual third dimensional plane, beyond the 3D world. Okay, so whereas somebody might say, oh, the weather's terrible today, isn't it? Another person might say, well, actually it's beautiful because nature is being given a drink. Nature is being given the water it needs. Because you can bet that when there's a drought, people are like, I wish it would rain. So it's having this, being a light worker or being somebody of this inclination often is entertaining and engaging in this balance, this level of balance, okay? Or challenging the status quo, or challenging the way things are done, or the way that the world is, okay? Because I know that for a lot of you, you'll recognise that the world to you, and to me, is not the way it should be, right? It's not built for love, it's not built for abundance, in the sense, I mean it is, because on a higher dimensional plane, so here's the mind workings of a light worker, on a 7th and 5th dimension, everything is just consciousness, as it is now, but that's the full present awareness in those states of being. You recognise everything as energy, and where your attention goes, you create within there, within those parameters. I just have been watching the new Tron Ares film. Not the greatest fan of most new films, to be honest, but there's a scene in that film where instead of having a 3D printer, which is printing with plastic, they have laser printers. So you could argue it's printing with light, and so therefore it's a 5th dimensional, 7th dimensional printer. Okay, the point being that laser focus. We're kind of entertaining two videos here. That laser focus creates a reality, and so with a lot of people who are, in quotes, light workers, usually they're here to bring this understanding, this awareness, these philosophies, okay? Ancient knowledge, deep dimensional conscious knowledge, knowledge upon the truth of our world, of the stars, of the planet, of nature and the seasons, of our human body, of our own consciousness. Excuse me, that's normally what a being who's come here to do work of the light is here to do. So examples of these beings would be Akhenaten, or Aton, being the light, the first person who brought the recognition of the sun and of the light, because the sun is the most perfect representation of the truth of our reality. It is the big ball of unconditional love in the sky that provides energy and life and nutrients to our entire world. Yeshua, King Arthur, Isis, Mary Magdalene, Guinevere. Said in no particular order. Everybody is equally as important. These beings were here to play a role, to share a story, to share ideas, to share thoughts. You could say the same with more of our ancient ancestors, Marcus Aurelius, different beings and people who came here to share profound philosophies and ideas, okay, to change and reshape the human experience and the human world and ourselves as human beings. So if you've suffered in your life, let's say you were either abused as a child, or you've gone through bullying at school, or you've gone through bullying in home environments or friend environments, whatever it is, work environments, Maybe you're here to recognize that's not right, that's not how things should be, and I'm here to represent something different. Instead of bullying people, you're here to love and nurture people. Instead of being somebody who's filled with lust or addictions or going out there and just being vulgar and crude, you're here to be someone of goodness and decency. Instead of working a 9-to-5 job, you're here to either develop a business or present things to the world that are going to be beneficial to humanity, or simply go back to nature and go back to living on the land, similar to what we've been talking about. So my suggestion to you is never discredit your experiences, your thoughts and feelings, and your ideas. Now, one of the most powerful things here of being a light worker is self-empowerment. And it's imperative that an individual who is of this inclination, could be everybody on the planet, so this isn't to take away and separate and say that it's us and them and this and that, and I despise those philosophies and ideologies. I'm just saying some people are here for a certain task and other people, maybe their task is different. Maybe it's all light work and we're just trying to divide something that's ultimately the same thing. That's truthfully the more accurate way of looking at things. However, in this understanding, it can simply give people an opportunity to recognize why they felt different. Okay? It can give people an opportunity to understand why they felt different, because that's something that challenges people a lot. You know, oh, I don't fit in, or friend circles, or I don't want to go out drinking or partying, or get the 3 up 2 down house, or the 3 down 2 up house, whatever. I don't even know about it. Or the big fancy car and get 3 kids and get married and all of this stuff. Like, for a lot of people it just makes no sense to them, and their ideas of life are different. Okay? Now, there's a big debate here, but I'm not trying to say that anybody's idea of life is right or wrong. Ugh, maybe. Big one there. Don't forget, I was involved in the prison service and I worked in that environment, so I do have experience that opens up that conversation on a deeper level. However, the biggest element here is understanding that many people have come here to be a representation, to be a presentation. Now that word is also interesting, presentation or action. Or you could even say Asian being at-on, present at-on, which would be present light. I'm playing there. I'm not saying that's the etymology of that word. I'm just saying that it's something that I'm personally playing with presentation, present action. So we have been present to do the work, is an idea that you could entertain. The other word, so we've got presentation and representation and demonstration. Isn't it interesting how they all end with that same prefix? I don't know if that's the correct word. English wasn't always my best thing. But the point being is some people are here to be a presentation. So the question for you, if this video has resonated to you up until this point, what can you do with your suffering? What can you do with your pain? What can you do with your past? What was the purpose and point of your pain and your past? And where can you take it? Okay? Can you transmute, transform, and bring it to the world in a way that helps not only alleviate other people's suffering, alleviate other people's pain, but wakes them up to the truth of our reality? Remember, Akhenaten, Isis, King Arthur, Guinevere, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, all here, usually couples, usually beings coming together. I'm not saying Isis and Akhenaten were, but coming together to do the work. Okay? Levels of understanding, levels of awareness. Excuse me. So, if you're struggling to understand what is the point in the stuff you've experienced, maybe you're here to do something positive with it. Because when we're unconscious, things happen to us. When we're consciously awake, things happen for you and you can't escape it. The minute that you understand that philosophy, it is impossible to escape and it will follow you around until you recognize it. Okay? The things that happened to me in life didn't happen to me, they happened for me, because it's who I am today. Who I am today is a being who is empowered to do the work and to help other people recognize who and what they truly are. That's my purpose. Okay? And if I had to go back through all of my suffering, I'd do it 50 times over. End of story. Full stop. close the book, yeah? It is a fact and a truth of life that exists within my being that is simply concrete, okay? If, from this point onwards, is it a way of life I should have experienced? No, but that's the point, is a lot of us experience it in this level of asleep and unconsciousness and slumber so that we can change the way things are for the future, okay? That can be your purpose. And to end off this video, sometimes your very purpose is simply to be who you are. That is the baseline. The baseline structure of your purpose is to be exactly the person who you are. This is one of those concepts that can be better to explore with a guide or a coach or somebody who can help you through it. That is a service that I offer, and if anybody is interested in working with me one-on-one, please feel free to. It would be something that I adore to do. If we gel well together and it's something you would like to explore, we can do. And I also offer card readings to bring through personal wisdom so that you can find out the answers that you're looking through your own consciousness. So if you're interested in that, go to my website, www.jamesmalinsofficial.com. You can find the link in YouTube and Facebook, etc. And in any other sense, guys, I hope you have a beautiful day. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.